Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of TCS Student News. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Madison.
Recently, there have been an overwhelming amount of cargo ships stuck at California seaports. Over 75 are currently in the queue after it has been getting longer for months. The ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach bring in 40% of the United States cargo each year. There's also over a dozen ships clogging up in New York. Before COVID, it was very rare for a cargo ship to have to wait to be unloaded. The backlog is connected due to the rising amount for products as the U.S. economy is reopening. It takes about 24 hours for a cargo ship to be unloaded, and some of the ships currently in the queue could be waiting for over a week. Another problem is that there aren't enough truck drivers to deliver the cargo after they're taken off the ships. Over 100,000 truck driving jobs have been lost, and more than 1 million new drivers will be needed for this amount of trade. The Long Beach port alone is close to processing over 9 million container units in 1 year, breaking its previous record of 8.1 million. The Los Angeles port became the first Western Hemisphere port to process 10 million in a year.
Due to the delay, retailers are trying to find creative ways to overcome price hikes and product shortages. Walmart announced during an earnings call it was going to charter its own ships to prepare for the holiday shopping season. Home Depot told investors it's reserving its own ships as well as snatching merchandise on the spot market. Many truckers and pilots don't want to go to work because they don't know how long it will take until they arrive back home. Not all U.S. ports are currently affected the same. For example, ports like Oakland don't have the ability to process as many containers as Los Angeles and Long Beach. Global infrastructure was not designed to handle goods at such a rate. Particularly due to the national labor crunch, increased demand from consumer goods has played a big part in the backlog. Upcoming holidays are causing a lot more consumer spending in areas such as toys, electronics, and clothes. Over 3 billion toys are sold each year to the United States, but it is really the small businesses that are affected the most. COVID-19 has also put an additional strain on the supply chain. It is mostly due to the social distancing and mandatory quarantine checks, which is hampered with the ability for port staff to carry out their jobs.
Now, let's see what's been happening in the school recently.
On Friday, we had a conversation with Ebony Evans and Denise Gant. It was wonderful hearing about Ebony's website, which was about the Say Her Name Coalition. It was interesting hearing about the Say Her Name Coalition and how it is different from the Black Lives Matter movement, which is more for black men. And the Say Her Name Coalition is about raising awareness for black women. Miss Ebony also talked about the way she spells women differently. She told us that there are many ways to spell women. On her website, she spells it WOMYN, women with a Y instead of an E, which was adopted by feminists to avoid the word men, and also includes people who identify as non-binary, which means they identify as neither gender. Miss Denise talked about her love for writing poetry. Miss Denise also shared a video with us, and it was a piece of poetry about her mom who passed away. It was really nice having both wonderful women come and talk to us, and I really hope we can come check out the lyrics soon.
After the conversation was over, we spent around 30 minutes doing improv and warm-ups. First, Miss Denise would vocalize a sound and we would repeat it. It ended up getting really complicated, but it was fun. And after that, we played a game where two people would be talking and they would have to come up with a random conflict and then figure out on the spot what to respond with. It started out with Miss Ebony and Mr. Tom, and they were arguing about getting her car back, but apparently her check bounced. Mr. Tom called her broke, and she went on her phone and showed him she had money. Then Brianna said freeze and swapped places with Mr. Tom. She had the chance to either keep that conflict going or start a new one, and she decided to start a new one about Miss Ebony being in her parking spot. Some other arguments were about getting a tattoo, Spider-Man versus Iron Man, and then Michelle and Ronan argued about what we should dress up for as Halloween. Michelle was the only one who wanted us to be the Paw Patrol dogs, and Mr. Tom as our owner. Like there was no chance that was happening. But most of us decided to be Spider-Man. You'll probably see it in the TCS news after Halloween. Back to the improv though. The entire class was going crazy during this whole game because it was so funny and random. But I really enjoyed talking with Miss Ebony and Miss Denise. They gave me a lot to think about, and I especially liked the improv activities we did. Thank you guys for coming in, and I can't wait to see you again soon.
Joshua went to visit the University of Maryland on Friday. He said he really enjoyed the tour around the school and it felt as big as a city. His sponsor, Amar, took him to visit the school. Josh said that it was interesting hearing some of the students' experiences at the school so far. Josh said one of his favorite parts was going to the African American department, which was where some students attending told him about how they felt comfortable there because they could freely express themselves and not be judged. He also mentioned the food there was amazing and he had a really good experience learning more about the school.
It's been great seeing you grow over the years, Joshua, and same for the rest of the seniors. It's going to be sad to see you guys leave, but congratulations. On Monday, we had our third climate change class. We talked about the recent plastic bag ban, and our homework was to interview an adult about their opinion on the law. Overall, most people thought of the ban as a positive. Some saw it as it should be a mandate for the whole state. The negatives that were brought up by the people who were interviewed were that they don't feel like they should have to bring their own bags to a grocery store or have to pay for bags there. It was mainly because of the inconvenience it would cause for consumers. Some facts that were brought up in the class were that it takes 12 million barrels of oil to produce 30 million bags a year. Also, over 1 million animals die a year due to plastics in the ocean. If that doesn't make you think about how negative plastic is for the environment, then I don't know what will change your mind. In fact, next week we're going to be meeting with D. Bill Henry, the one who introduced the bill. What do you think about the law, Madison?
I think that the law is good because plastic bags are non-biodegradable and are hurting our environment. Marine life is greatly impacted by plastic bags because they mistake it for plankton and jellyfish, and when they consume it, they become ill or die. The law is a great idea. I just can't believe it took so long to go into effect. Monday was the 44th anniversary of the Community Survival Center, which was created in 1977 on the corner of Lorraine and Howard by a group of young Remington people. This organization created many groups and efforts such as the Remington People's Food Co-op, Youth in Action, Remington Youth Council, Remington Organization Against Racism, Community Weatherization, organizing efforts around housing, education, job training, and much more.
It is insane to think that the school has been around for 44 years now. That's nearly triple most of the people in the school's ages. I really appreciate the amount of work and care Mr. Tom has to still be here at a non-profit organization just to help young people. He has run this organization primarily by himself since the beginning. I couldn't imagine ever having that amount of responsibility. Happy anniversary.
Now we'd like to thank everyone who brought in lunches this past week. Thank you, Miss Nickmeyer, for the vegan dish. It was so good, and my favorite part was the delicious egg rolls. Thank you so much for volunteering for over such a long period of time, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Miss Mary Louise, for the Italian subs. You have been such a huge supporter of the school for so long, and I really appreciate how much you do for us. I know you put a lot of time and love into your meals, and your personality is so bright.
Thank you so much, Miss Sarita, for the amazing lasagna on Friday. You've only been at the school for a little over a month, and you've already helped us out so much and made so many delicious lunches.
Thank you, Miss Carol, for the meatball subs on Monday. You really mean a lot to the school, and it could never be as good without you, so I really appreciate everything you do for us.
Thank you, Miss Peg, for the BLTs, veggie chips, grapes, and soup. They were all so amazing, and thank you so much for the hard work and dedication you put into all your meals.
And that's it for this week's TCS News. Thanks for watching.